What's up, guys? Dan Cohan here, and in this interview, we're going to be interviewing Ryan Kelly and David Casey from the First Class Real Estate team here in Kansas City. They have had explosive growth, growing to, in just under 2 years of starting their brokerage, grown to over 100 agents underneath them, and are just growing every day with a bunch of killers, giving people some awesome systems and awesome splits to get agents and build retention and build a really cool real estate business. Let's hop right into that interview.
Wouldn't it be cool to be on a billboard and me just doing this?
Yeah.
Like that would get everybody's attention.
We have morning coaching calls with all of our agents. It's like every day we do it. And today's topic was like how to brand yourself.
Right.
And people were saying like, I want to do postcards or these other things. And, me and Ryan, our philosophy with any type of broad marketing, where it's very general, you're just a shotgun blast to everybody. You need to do that to the people or community that already know you. And so, like we said, if we're ever going to do billboards, we do it down 24 Highway, east of 291.
For about 3 square miles.
Yeah.
3 miles.
I would just grab up every single freaking billboard. And then I would just make it a point.
Face on every billboard.
Yeah. And then I would make it a point to do a live video every time I drive past it. Like just be obnoxious about it, because if you aren't excited in promoting it, like how is somebody else on board?
Yeah, man.
Also, cool. Like how many impressions does that get you and at what dollar amount? I could go vinyl wrap my car with my logo on it, telling everybody to call me. And that thing lasts for 7 years and it's like $500.
Yeah, we're thinking about doing
2,000 postcards. You're talking 50 cents a piece at least. And then you got to get in front of them like 10 times a month.
Cool. So what you guys got going on?
We're doing like 4 flips right now, finishing up a couple. We just listed a couple, and then doing a couple more, looking for more deals. That's kind of it right now. Daniel just quit his job like a month and a half.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, let's go.
Big win.
Yep. Trying to get to that.
How much set aside money, if you don't mind sharing, were you comfortable with? Was it like 6 months, or how much did you have to have before you quit that job?
So I've got 9 rentals, and
cool.
That produces after everything. I gross about 11,225, and then after PITI maintenance and everything, it's about 3,200 a month. And then I've saved up with lines of credit backed by equity and cash, like a couple $100,000. So.
Nice.
So for me, that's kind of fueling a lot of the flipping business. But yeah, no. So I feel comfortable, and I'm like, I made more money from flipping part-time than from my job.
I wish I could go back in time and figure out that I didn't have to work 60 hours at the Ford plant to make $4,000 a month. Man, I'm going to get my real estate license. I can sell one house and make twice that amount and keep all of it and then write everything off for taxes. I'm like, it's like a whole different world I had no idea about.
No, it's really cool. Yeah, I made believe we were working together since last October, and Austin because I had bought a couple properties, and he came to me and he's like, hey, there's this on market, $60,000 house in Gladstone. Like, we need to put in a cash offer to get this thing. I think it's going to be a good deal. ran the numbers, thought we could, probably get into it, 60,000 to the house, 40,000 rehab, and then it'd be worth like 130, 140. And, it was like when things were red hot. And so, I had the cash and we needed to get into flipping. And I was like, this is the way forward. So I was like, let's do it, and we got the offer accepted and turned out really well. Priced for 136, and we were able to cash out, refi, and turn it into a burr.
I think the first one, because I just bought I did a flip this year, but I just bought my first 2 rental properties. And I didn't even really look at the numbers all that much. It hit the 1%, but I'm like, I'm just going to do it. And even if I lose some money, I'm like, I'll be better for it, I feel like. And then I think that's where most people go wrong, is they're all hype about going to the seminars and doing all the rah-rah stuff. But then when it's actually time to pull the trigger, they're like, what if this goes wrong?
It's like paralysis analysis, like people get caught up in what they're doing. I think the best house I ever bought was, I bought a house out in Leavenworth, which the house itself was probably not the best investment. I'm not losing money, but at the same time, I probably could have, done a better deal. But if I wouldn't have bought that house, I wouldn't have gotten into Leavenworth, where I bought other houses and found the market. So it's like, sometimes the cost of doing a deal isn't just like what you expend into it, but sometimes it's like, well, I learned something new.
So you got to just take that leap. Sometimes quitting a job is that leap for some people. That was me. I had zero savings. I just said, screw it. My leap was I got tired of just showing up and just like looking at this endless to-do list. And I'm seeing people that are at this company for 12 years doing the same to-do list that I'm doing. And I'm like, this is never going to end. This is forever.
What was the show that you had watched to like change your mindset?
Oh yeah. So this is something that I kind of make it mandatory for anybody who works directly for us to watch this video. And it's called The Secret. And the reason why I even found this is because I remember before I left for the military, my mom, she had quit smoking for like 6 months, and she accredited it to this book, The Secret, because it just has some cool principles in there that talk about. It's more of like the law of attraction.
Yeah.
And so I left for the military. I got out after 3 years of active duty service, and then I got into real estate investing, at least buying courses and stuff. And I was back home visiting for like 2 weeks, and I was kind of bored, and I was like, you know what? Life is kind of just repetitive, because the military is very repetitive. And then, when you work a 9-to-5 job, it's kind of the same thing. Like, dude, if I had $1 million sitting in my bank, I would go back in the military and go do some badass special forces job, because I know I'm financially secure. So let me just go have some fun, at least that's my version.
Right.
And then I got thinking, I'm like, what separates the elites, like call it that, or like the super successful people, like the Rockefellers, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, like anybody who's just achieving massive success, like what sets them apart? And then I just, for some reason, just remembered that book. And I was just YouTubing everything at the time. So I YouTubed it and found it. And I watched the movie and I was like, oh my God. And there was this one part in the movie, if anybody's watched it, where they talk about go get a rock. It's like something that just grounds you. And you keep it in your pocket, and I don't know, it's a lot of like hippy dippy type stuff, but man, I think it works. And that's that book, the book, The Secret, or the movie. It kind of goes into those guiding principles. So we try to get everybody in our organization to watch that, just to think bigger, or just have like a higher sense of purpose. But
he told me to get into real estate when I was at the Ford plant, and then I looked up average income from a real estate agent in Kansas City. I'm like, I'm not gonna quit a 6-figure job.
I did the same thing whenever I first got into real estate. I saw like the average income for an agent, and I'm like, it's 40 or 50,000. I'm like, that's not that great, And then getting into it, it's definitely different if you're a producer.
Yeah, that's why I told him, like, dude, I made 20 grand this month. Like, stop it. And then he's like, what would you make last month? And I'm like, I didn't make anything. And he's like, see? And I was still newer at the time. But I mean, it is what you make it, and that's what I was trying to drive home to him.
We have a brand new agent. She started in August, and she's already done over $2 million in volume. And like just staying consistent and doing the same marketing tactics every single day and making the same contacts every single day. And it's like, she's brand new, had no idea about anything in the real estate industry. And she's doing 2 million. I mean, my first year I did 22 transactions at an average of like $100,000, and I did 2.5 million or something. She's doing that in 60 days.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's some life-changing money, especially for a single mom with kids.
My first 6 months into the business, my daughter's born. Ford Motor Company gave me FMLA for 6 weeks.
Right.
And I spent that time diving straight into real estate, seeing what I could do. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot for 6 weeks. And if it works out, then cool. If not, no, nothing lost. Well, I ended up doing 7 transactions that June, and we made like $48,000. And then it was time to go back to work. And I'm like, oh man, and then I actually went back to work for another 6 months. I only had to go in 1 day a week. And even that 1 day a week, I was like, oh, this is terrible. Like, there's no way I can do it. And so then after that 6 months, I ended up quitting. But yeah, Definitely life-changing.
Yeah. Well, hey, I guess spinning off that, what's the Ryan Kelly and David Casey origin story? Where did you guys start? What did you guys, what got you into real estate? And
I got started right when I got out of the military in 2013. So I lived in New Jersey at the time. My wife now, she was my girlfriend at the time. So I separated out of the military. I was collecting unemployment, and then I used my post 9/11 GI Bill, and that's to go to school. Well, I lived in New Jersey, but I put my schooling in New York City. So I went to DeVry University in New York City, and it was like an adult college, kind of what they called it. And so they had after-hour classes, and they're pretty flexible. So I was collecting like a little bit over $4,000 a month tax free from that as well. So
I hated him.
I was pulling in $6,000 a month, living in my girlfriend's mom's basement,
Let's go.
just out of the military, and I'm just hanging out. And so, you know, you kind of get bored just sitting around not doing anything. And my brother-in-law now, he was still in high school, about to go into college. He went to Rutgers School of Business for finance and accounting, I believe. And he was always big into penny stocks, you know, investing and all that stuff. He created a company when he was like 17 called Secret Caps. And so he would find like, you know, underground companies that really had a low evaluation and, you know, penny stocks.
Right.
And well, they call them caps or whatever. And so he was doing pretty good with that. He had forums and stuff like that. So he was doing some outside the box stuff, and he never worked normal jobs. He like caddied and stuff like that, getting around rich people.
Right.
And so I just kind of took notes, and I hit him up one day. I'm just in the basement. I'm like grabbing a sandwich out of the fridge, out of his mom's fridge. But so I start picking his brain about, you know, hey man, like what's this investing thing? How can I get started? We have a cool relationship. Like we're buds. Basically, he's like, here's a book, check it out. And, you know, I'm blowing all my money because I'm really bad at financial management at the time.
He still is.
Yeah, I still am, but it's whatever. Just got to make more money, right? So he gave me a book. I was bad at reading. I downloaded Audible, downloaded Warren Buffett because he's like the OG of investing, I guess. And his books are pretty boring. But so I finally got a job, and I was driving to this company. I worked like 100 miles away from where I lived at. It sounds crazy, but I worked a dispatch job. So I'd work sometimes 5 miles away from my house or 100. And so I listened to these audiobooks, and I listened to the Warren Buffett. It's called Snowball, I think it's his book. And so he talks about in the beginning of his book, basically he's like, he's a little kid pushing around some snow in his front yard. He realizes the more he pushes the snow, the bigger the ball gets. And then so he's just amazed by this, how it's growing so fast. He pushes it to the end of the street, and the snowball's massive. And he's like, how much bigger can I get it? And he looks up and he sees a world full of snow, right? And so talk about compounded, you know, interest, investing, and things like that.
Just quit his job out of nowhere.
I put in my 2 weeks notice.
Just from the snowball.
Yeah, exactly. I just needed a little bit of inspiration. I'm like, I'm going to bet on myself. I still had my GI Bill for a couple years, and I was on YouTube looking up how to get rich. That was my first search. I bought an investing course for $3,000. It was a 50-50 partnership. Any wholesale or flip deals I would do, we'd split the profits 50-50. So it was one of those like hand-holding type mentorship things. It gave me a crash course on marketing and how to just structure deals, creative real estate investing, how to run comps, all that shebang. I had taxi cabs in Freehold, New Jersey, running around with my sign on top of their car. We buy houses. I would pay people $200 a month for me to do that. And I was getting calls, and then I eventually ended up in Arizona because my wife got accepted to a graduate program. So we made the decision to move out to Arizona, and I didn't flip any houses in New Jersey, but I had a lot of leads, and I just wanted to move somewhere and settle in before I got established. So I jumped ship on New Jersey. We moved to Arizona, and then I got my first flip. It was a $70,000 investment property, and I sold it for $110,000. I only had it for 2 weeks. I basically assigned it. We had to do a double closing, but it seems so much like luck how I got that deal. You know, it was just, I felt a little insecure with how I'm going to get my next paycheck because I still didn't have a job. I was still using my GI Bill. So I was still kind of freeloading. And, you know, whenever you're first getting into real estate investing, you feel like kind of an amateur, or like you're just wasting your time most of the day. Right. I'm writing postcards, doing pay-per-click ads. I'm just doing everything I can to try to like find a deal. And, you know, I kind of got discouraged, and I said, well, I have a real estate license, because I ended up getting my license to pull better comps, not to sell people houses. It dawned on me. I'm like, I can go door knock houses and find sellers. And so I went on a mission to go door knock. And I ended up in one summer, I door knocked 10,000 homes.
In Arizona?
Wow.
Pretty hot.
Wow.
Yeah,
Dude,
it was so
trooping.
You must have been
the
sweating.
crazy part about that is, you know, I was new to Arizona, and I didn't realize how dangerous that was to be out there in that heat. So 110 degrees was my cutoff. And my dad always told me early on, whenever I would door knock for like mowing yards and stuff like that, he's like, if anybody offers you a bottle of water or something, you take it, right? Because now you're kind of building some rapport and whatever. So each door I'd go to, people literally offer me water, and I would take it. But like I would get 5 doors in, and I had to go use the bathroom. So it was very counterproductive. Like I was just out there sweating all that stuff. So I just got fed up with door to door, like very hard sales cycles with trying to close people to sell their house. I got a few listings off of it, but so I figured out a Facebook strategy on how to generate a ton of leads automatically. And so I reinvested my energy and time into, I was still door knocking during the day, but in the evening times I was building out my systems, my funnels. I'm like, okay, let me run Facebook ads and I can automate it. So then instead of me door knocking 100 homes a day, I would flip it and I would go set 10 buyer consultation appointments at Starbucks through these Facebook ads I was running. So I automated it pretty well. And, you know, around that time, I was like, you know what, if I had a sphere of influence, I'd crush it right now. Right. Like I just kept saying to myself. And then I was talking to Ryan. I'm like, dude, you should get your license. You should get your license. He's like, nah, man, I'm capped at Ford.
Finally get to top scale. And it was like an extra $10 an hour. And then I did that for 3 months and quit.
Yeah.
So I worked 7 years to get to that point and then decided to go into real estate and quit.
Yeah. And you know, I felt confident trying to drag Ryan out of his 9-to-5 job. So then when I'm approaching Ryan, you know, he would come and visit me when I was in the military, come and hang out every now and then. And so we stayed in touch. Probably about once a year we'd see each other. And then when I'm living in Arizona, he'd fly out and see what I had going on, but he'd go back to work. But then I finally was pushing on him hard because I felt confident whenever I was running these Facebook ads that I could duplicate the system. You know, and this was back in 2016, 2017, whenever expansion teams were starting to become the hot topic for real estate agents that were running teams. So my grand vision was I'm going to run a team in Arizona and I'm going to have an expansion team in Kansas City and Ryan's going to run it. And I'm going to handle his back end. So I'll get licensed in Missouri, right? I'll handle his back end. We'll build a system and then we'll run his ads and then he's just boots on the ground. And then we would split the deals and whatnot. We
were doing 23 transactions. I remember I had an epiphany in his apartment when they first moved here in Parkville. We were up, it was midnight. Everybody was having a great time. We were doing contract stuff. Like, we got to get this done. Oh, this lady called, we got to negotiate this. And it was all day long, constant. It's like, yeah, it was cool to make the money and to keep 100% of everything and whatnot. But we had an epiphany. We were like, what's next? What are we going to do? Are we just going to try to hit 30 homes a month every single month and just drive ourselves into the ground? And when we had that question of what's next popped into our head, we're like, why can't we teach other people to do this? And now we're multiplying our efforts by teaching, 50 people to do the one task that we would do. And now instead of having one open house, we can have 50 open houses and so forth. So that's when the idea of opening up a brokerage came into play.
Yeah. So we had a lot of steps. I think we just fast forwarded our entire journey. Very quick time frame. So we went from individual producing agents in probably 2019 to establishing ourselves as a team in 2020. That's when I started moving back to Kansas City because we made the leap where the strategies I was implementing in Arizona were getting me probably about 2 to 3 closings a month, maybe, but it was getting him like 10 to 15 almost sometimes.
In case
the marketplace ads we'd run, first one we did, it was new homes, new year, under 250,000. And on those marketplace ads, we had like 243 leads come through. And I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, but that's cool, but I'm not ever going to make contact with these people because I was at Ford.
That time
inspired us to team up officially. And, I just kind of said, I'm moving away from Arizona and this is what we're going to do. And then when we teamed up, we hit so much production towards the tail end of 2020. 2020. We were in coaching and we just had good mentors around us and they told us, hey, you guys should open up your own operation. And that's, kind of what parlayed into us doing our own brokerage. And then I think we've set the record for the fastest office to hit 100 agents the fastest. That wasn't our big picture vision, but then we always had these conversations. What's next? And, we just had that accountability and this, the want to grow and achieve our full potential, so that's kind of our origin story. How we all got into it. A lot of it is that law of attraction thing though. I think me and Ryan, we both possess that same belief as the things you focus on expand into the universe and what you put out there, you attract right back to you.
No, it's awesome. And building that up like that is such a short period of time. I mean, I've built a business from like 4 to 20 people and took, 4 years. And of course these are agents and stuff, but that's pretty astounding to go from single producers to 100 agents under you guys in under 2 years. I mean, it's insane.
I think the biggest thing was perfection is an enemy of profit. That's a saying that we heard early on. Too many people before they go and start their team, they're like, I need this database selected. I need these systems in place. I need these lead gen tactics in place for each new agent that I bring on, and they've got to hit these requirements, and this is our onboarding process. We're like, when we get to 100, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're probably at close to 110. And I think, over the next year, we keep saying probably around 250 is what we want our agent count to be about this time towards the end of next year. That'd be solid. We're working on opening our third real estate office in Kansas City. And then we're going nationwide as well. So we can sell franchises nationwide. So we're basically packaging up our marketing campaign for how to help other individual broker owners or team leaders, teaching them how to grow and scale like we did. The day we opened our office, we basically jumped ship on production and just stepped out, and we went right into management full time.
Dude, Q1 of our first year opening a brokerage, we don't like to talk about these numbers, but 7 transactions as a brokerage in the first quarter of 2021.
Yeah.
And that was our transactions. We had overhead of a few $1,000s, opening up rent and having all those other things that we brought on. But yeah, man, that was scary. Q1 of this year, 148 homes. But the cool thing about it is whenever you start that business and you grow it, it never goes backwards.
Right.
Like if you're the only one beating the hammer or beating the bag, obviously when you step away and you guys go on that month-long vacation, who's beating the bag?
Right. Nobody. Yeah.
Or the deals.
And so just this past month, we did almost 60 transactions.
Dude, our model is the Amazon model. Get down as soon as possible, be as cheap as possible, and offer the best service. The 1-day shipping, the Prime days. Like, culture's huge, but having the systems to where you can scale and making it super cheap for the agents, I think that's what separates us from the other companies.
Yeah.
So what is, what are your guys' brokerage economics, and why would an agent like Austin, for example, want to come and join your guys' brokerage?
I think most of it up front is not enough people know about you. First Class wasn't a household name. So getting that message out there, marketing to more people is key number one. And then creating systems as we go to make it, we want to cast as wide of a net as possible, where we can help brand new agent go from brand new to being a top producer. We can help a top producer become a team leader, and we can help a team leader become a business owner. So as long as we can cast a wide enough net and have the systems in play for any agent in any step of the business, I think that's going to set us up for success. So,
and for us as well, because we think about why did we open up this brokerage, and it's because it solved almost all the problems that we had as we were a growing, scaling team. Even just partnership agreements, that was something that I was like, I don't have one of those.
You have to come up with an MSA,
and then, events this company already kind of had them all pegged out where it's you should be doing these activities.
Right. So I would imagine that the company or the franchise gave you a lot of the SOPs and KPIs and stuff like that.
Dude, the library is ridiculous. I mean, anything you can think of, employee handbooks, what? I wasn't going to have that.
Performance improvement plans, recruiting guides.
And these are all tools that we have at our disposal to give to our team leaders that are growing and scaling teams, And when I was with other big brands, I'm not going to say any names, but I was paying them high splits and I got none of that. Right. I wanted to grow a team. I went to my office production leader or whoever it was, and I said, "Hey, do you guys got a team agreement?" And they're like, "No, I don't, but you might want to contact an attorney or something just very generic, get out of my face, essentially." Whereas us, we encourage that because like Ryan said, that speaks right to our growth plan. So what's enticing for an agent? It's dude, we have a blueprint. We were individual producing agents. I was doing 20 deals a year in Arizona. And now we're doing freaking 60 deals a month. And that's happened within, if you did a 4-year snippet, we could do it in 2 years now. And we're duplicating that process with other broker owners and other team leaders. So we know it's something that is reliable and sustainable. So just like some of our first agents, agent number 1, he was at a flat fee company. He came over to our office. He was complaining because there was no support. They were hand signing documents. That's still happening in Missouri today. That's such a waste of time. I get it for certain people, but that's what he was being told. He did 3 deals. He came on with
what's your database?
Yeah.
What's your technology they offer? That's got to be good, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they don't offer that. Well, then the culture's got to be pretty amazing, right? oh no, it's not. It's like we're taking what they do over on the coast and trying to bring it here in Missouri, because we know Missouri's like a year behind. So if we can be the first people to implement all that stuff, then it's going to set us apart.
And then we take that agent who was on his own 100% company, struggling, came onto our partner model, and now he's paying splits, 70-30 split on his own deals. He's doing 50-50 on our deals. I think how much did he do his first year with us?
24 transactions and like 6 million in volume.
I would pay splits on that all day. And then you got a free crash course on how to run your business like top producing agent, right? That's invaluable because that's a lifelong 100%. Skill.
He does the whole thing that we did for him and his own business, and he does amazing. And yeah, this year he's keeping 100% of the money. He turned on an entrepreneur agent, and he's still doing more volume than he did last year.
Yeah.
And that's the growth plan.
And the best part about it too is that we give our playbook away for free to our agents. Like nothing's hidden. There's no like, don't open that door because there's secrets back there, and so, we just share this stuff openly because it's just like the law of attraction, it's like there's an abundance out there of deals, of agents, of opportunities. I mean, if one sector shrinks, you can always expand into another one. Right. And so, we lead with that mindset, and it's never failed us wrong. In moments, it feels like
we're losing.
You're losing. I gave something away. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have gave them such a good deal. But if you let it play out, it always comes back tenfold. And so we lead with that. So I think that's the benefit of if somebody were to come under our model or lean into this franchise or something, it's just because it's top-down leadership. It's basically we give our playbook. So if you aspire to grow into a true entrepreneur business owner, might as well get around people who have done it, right? Success leaves clues, and that's what we focus on.
We were at a mom and pop shop before this, and what did they say when we told them we wanted to open up our own office?
Oh gosh.
Like cease and desist, deuces, we're out of here, you're gone, your license getting cut back to the state. Wow. We're like, man, we never want to be like that.
Yeah, there's some people that have fixed mindsets. When you start to become the top producer in the office and you're out producing the brokers that have been doing it for 40 years, they start to get intimidated. And instead of thinking of how can they partner with us, they kicked us out the door. And since then, we've not only matched their production and agent count, we've doubled it.
They've been in office 23 plus years, and year one, we're out producing their office.
I think it's important to have a chip on your shoulder to a degree. Like no hate, no resentment, but just competition.
We got the Tom
Brady.
100%.
Right. And so it's that mindset. So that's what we carry over.
Cool. No, that's awesome. I think people there are very attracted to that. Like that's how we think. We want to get really big. We want to. There's just so many deals out there. It's like let's get as many people into our world as possible.
Yeah, and the one thing we've learned in our short time doing this is never to burn a bridge. Always try to make relationships above making a transaction.
Our first core value, because when we got in the thick of it with like 30 to 40 transactions going on at any time, and it was just me and him, we had a lot of people pissed at us for just random things that come up.
Communication when you have a transaction coordinator who's new, and I think we first got into listings in mid 2020.
Yeah.
And like heavy into listings. And so a lot of new things get thrown at you. Our communication wasn't great with the clients. So we had to help out and go above and beyond after that first month of going from 10 transactions to 30. It's like, we missed a lot of good communication with our clients.
And so we made a core value sheet, because everybody says do core values, right down your goals.
100%.
But, we wanted something that really we could look at every day. And when me and Ryan are having tough conversations and saying, the stuff you say behind closed doors and you come out smiling. Core value number one was relationships first. So no matter what, no matter how mad we would get about a situation or, they're so blah, blah, we'd be like, no, relationships first. That matters. Because I don't know if you guys have ever seen Moneyball, but there's a strategy where you want more people playing for you than against you.
Right.
Everybody for you, no one against you. And like you said, no burning bridges. It's just that mentality of like, listen, things happen for a reason and everybody's at where they want to be, and things don't happen to you, they happen for you. So, okay.
Or because of you.
Or because of you too. And, okay, shit situation, no big deal. I've survived 100% of my worst days. So, what's the difference? Let's just keep it rolling. Let's have a positive can-do attitude. So that's what we led with. And yeah, like you said, keeping those relationships first, we just always looked at that and we said, okay.
Well, I guess our channel's kind of based around like real estate investing and, looking at deals. How did your guys', I think you said you did your first flip and you've got a couple of rentals this year. Like, how's that gone? What type of real estate are you looking at? And are you still looking to continue to acquire stuff? Like, how does that tie into the business?
Yeah. So I think it's just like with real estate, dive head in. And I have a saying, and it's fake it till you make it. And I would be the number one real estate agent as a brand new agent. I missed my mom's inspection period. She needed a new roof. And it was day 12. And I'm like, can we still do inspections? I had no idea. And so I just went in. I'm like, no, Mom, we don't need it. Like, you're good. And the agent, she's the one that messed up, but whatever. And so with real estate investing, I did the same thing. I've been around people like Austin, and I go to all Mindy's meetup events. And being around those people, I'm like, if they can do it, why can't I do it? And then at our last seminar that Mindy put on, she said, just do it. Like, my first deal, I didn't know how I was going to get the funds. I committed, and then I came through and found somebody, asked questions. And that was her worst deal up front and her best deal now that she held on to it. She said the best time to buy real estate is now. And so I was just look for it at the end of our day. We end our day about 2:00. I'm looking for deals. I go on the wholesaler. Cool story about the last one that I just purchased. The guy was like, well, he wanted 95. I offered him 84. I was like, this is the best I can do. And the guy that I flipped the first house with was like, yeah, just leave it at that. He'll come back to you. And he was like, no, man, we can't do that. Next day, he's like, well, I'm not going to make anything on this, but I'll go ahead and do it because we already did all the landscaping and I wanted to sell with them. And I'm like, all right, sweet, man. Well, the next one, I got you, So yeah, so that was, I'm going 75% ARV to rehab the property too. They put that all in the loan, pay 25%.
Oh, nice.
I want to get to 10 pretty soon. We did 2 this month, and I'm thinking I try to stay around 70% of ARV up front.
Same.
Did a flip, bought a $100,000 listing by William Chrisman, 2-bed, 1-bath. We put 10,000 into it and sold it for 182. So that was cool. I was like,
great,
man, that was amazing. And investment properties are the easiest houses to sell. It's like they look good, no one's in there, and just throw it up on. And the way the market was, you just throw it up, you get multiple offers.
Yeah.
I've had listings where I could have bought the house day one from a client and turn around, give them exactly what they wanted cash, and turn around it on the open market and sold it for $50K more.
Right.
No
right.
We missed that. We could have done that 100 times last year.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Taking advantage of opportunities. I mean, Ryan's like the number one implementer. And so like in his house.
That's why David failed without me, because he had really good ideas, but he'd only do it once, and then when it worked, he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm done."
I checked that box. Nailed it. I have too much self-confidence that I can always revert back to it, so I look for the next best thing. And that's just kind of my fatal flaw. But you get around an implementer, dude, you could take on anything. And so like with me and Ryan, I maybe you guys have a similar dynamic, but have you read Rocket Fuel?
We haven't.
The DI duo.
Yeah, it talks about the duo between the visionary and the implementer.
Implementer. Yeah, I've read like Traction and EOS and a lot of those things.
Yeah.
EOS, we did that. That was our first
goal setting
event.
Yeah, we flew out to California. Like all the top agents in California were there, and then we're just 2 kids from Missouri. We're like, what? I have this thing where when I go to real estate events, I'm asking my questions, because my number one saying is no one's going to ask your questions for you.
And I'm over here like, oh God.
I'm like, why did I come here if I'm not going to solve a problem? Like it just We're there. We're doing this goal setting thing. The number 2 agent in San Diego, he runs this massive team. He's got like 14 salaried employees. He's got, probably 50 agents, whatever. He said they're going to do 500 transactions. But the sales price in San Diego versus not only how many agents there are versus how many homes are for sale. Right. Most teams can't break that 500 home barrier. Like it's just kind of that glass ceiling. Yeah. It's like the 5-minute mile.
Right.
Or a 4-minute mile. And so we're brand new. We only had a couple agents at our office, and we said, you know what? We're going to sell 500 homes this year. And we said, we're going to have 50 agents. They're all going to do 10 homes a year. right? And so we're mapping it out. And then I go up there, like, cause the guy's like, anybody want to share your goals and, have us kind of break them down. My goals were verbatim exactly what the number 2 agent in San Diego's. And he's the one to get like asking people to come up. So I'm just, I go up there and Ryan's like, God damn it. And I'm like, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. He's like, okay, what's your average sales price? I'm like, 200,000. He's like, okay, so you got these agents, they're at a 50-50 split. They're gonna make 3,500 each. They're all gonna sell 10 homes a year. So they're all gonna make $35,000. So you're gonna have a bunch of broke agents on your team. And I'm like, I needed that wake up call because I'm just doing quick, easy math that just checks a box and looks good around a bunch of people who don't call you out on your shit.
Right.
And so he kind of checked us a little bit. He said, you guys, how many support staff do you have? I'm like, well, we have his wife and she's part-time as a transaction coordinator. He's like, okay, who's your marketing person? We don't have one. Who's your operations manager? We don't have one. Who's your support staff admin? We don't have one. Okay, you guys really need to rethink this because I have 14 salaried employees in X, Y, and Z, this, and that. He's like, selling that many homes, you're going to have some struggles, right?
Right.
But mind you, we just told you our last month's report. We almost did 60 homes.
Yeah,
we're going to sell
track
this year, at least over the next 12 calendar month. So it's only been a year and a half. So suck on that.
And
they're all nice people. They're all really cool.
Our support staff starting out was David, myself. We got out of production within 90 days, hired on an admin support. And then we had Kelsey, my transaction coordinator, and Austin's transaction coordinator. And that was our team. We got up first year, 54 agents, and we closed 160 houses. This year, we're getting close to the 400 mark, and we'll hit that. And now we have 2 transaction coordinators and 2 support staff, recruiter and an admin support.
Nice.
Marketing has been pushed out to the Philippines. And accounting's been pushed out to virtual. So integrating all that stuff, we don't need, for 50 agents, we don't need 20 support staff.
If I was talking to him today, I'd be like, you're hemorrhaging cash.
You're going to have 14 support staff that you salary. That's $5,000 a month because you want to pay well. And you're starting out month 1, you're negative $85,000.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but we need this and they need that. Dude, brand new agents, they don't need leads. That's not their problem. They need to be taught how to generate leads, where to go to get the leads, and then how to follow up with the leads, and then how to go on the appointment and convert the lead. That's what they need. I see too many team agents and they're like, yeah, we offer Boom, Bomb, and Follow Up Boss mixed with this CRM, and then we integrate our marketing staff and this, and we have showing agents for them and that. And I'm like, dude, what are your expenses on that? Oh, 60%. Do you need all that? Does a brand new agent need Bomb, CRM, Follow Up Boss mixed with fucking MailChimp and all this other stuff? So he's like, okay, how much is it per seat? Yeah, about $30,000 a month. Well, no wonder you don't want to bring on more people. You bring on 10 agents, that's $30,000 a month.
And fixed expenses.
We know most agents, there's an 87% dropout rate with agents. Most of them aren't going to last. So you're paying $3,000 a month and they're probably not going to sell a deal for 6 months. And then they retract, don't want to build, don't want to grow.
Agents,
and that's why our model.
And we run so freaking skinny that we can bring on an agent. They can sit there, have all the tools, support, training, infrastructure, mentorship, guidance, everything under the sun. And they can just sit there and they could take 6 days, 6 months, 6 years to get into production. We don't care. We're here for you. We like to say you can't make somebody productive. You can only control the environment in which they can be productive in.
So you can lead horse water, you can't make it drink.
It's just one of those things.
Bro,
it's
we
just
try.
Nature.
We're like, no, we're going to have a SEAL team. We're going to bring in these new agents. We're going to hold them accountable, make sure they're in the office Monday through Friday. We're going to have them jump on these 10:05 calls. They have to make every single one of them. And you find out
they just have to want it. They just have to want it. Some people just don't, they just don't want it. And that's,
does that mean you say fuck off and go away?
Most people do though. They're like, I'm firing them. They get so excited and proud to say, I fired my agent. It's like, well, how many do you have? It's like, I have 6. It's like, how many you fired? I fired 30. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you have all this potential because your next top producer is most likely a brand new agent, and maybe they just need a little bit more time to sprout.
And why teams don't work at big companies is because they've got the company split, and then their team leader wants, 50%, even if they didn't generate the deal or whatever the case is. So then they go sell mom's house. It's a $200,000 house. They get $6,000. They walk away with $1,700. You guys offered me transaction coordination and marketing, and I didn't use the transaction coordination or the technology or the marketing. That's why teams don't work at big companies. They can come here, pay one low fee, and then they don't have to switch companies whenever they're like, well, I don't need your support and your training.
I want to keep 100% commission. Okay, go entrepreneur. We just changed the plans in the back end, and now you're keeping all the commission.
Well, I want to grow a team. Well, you can't keep more money than 100%, unfortunately. So make your team splits. I tell team leaders, if they want to grow, they have to match the support with the cost of their team. You can't have 50-50 and not offer jack shit and have no support for them. It doesn't work, but you could do 90-10 and just be there as a listener,
as a guide,
mentor,
and have them use their branding. It's like, offer what you want.
Cool. Yeah, as you can tell, we get pretty excited about this stuff. We have a lot of conversations.
It gets me, man. I'm thinking about becoming an agent, joining first class.
Let's roll, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, we're like rocket fuel that shit. Because like everybody says they got the best thing out there,
Mm-hmm.
We can't hate on them because we say it too.
Yeah, we say it too, But all you can do is just come in and get your feet wet and just see if it's a good fit.
Yeah.
That's really it. And our thing is we just want to be an avenue. Because dude, when I was an agent back in the day, I didn't know where I fit in. I thought I was going to be this badass entrepreneur, rich investor. So I didn't need help from anybody. I'm like, if you're not a motivated seller, I don't want to talk to you. Right? That was my mission. So I go talk to these real estate agents. I'm like, you got nothing for me. That was my mindset. So I'd go to Keller Williams because my buddy told me to go there. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. And then I was like, I closed 5 deals. They took 30% off each of those deals. They helped me out this much. And I said, I'm going to keep all my money. So I go to 100% commission company. So I transfer my license. And then I go to there and I'm closing deals, but I got no support. Like there's just no environment, no culture. And I'm like, well, this is kind of boring. Let me go back and re-engage my friends at KW. So I go back there and then I'm back and it was cool, close some deals. I'm like, damn it, I just did that again. And then so I go back. I literally, if you look on my Arizona Real Estate Commission transfer history, I go back and forth between KW and this flat fee company, West USA Realty. And I love both models. They both had things there for you, training support. I'd go to all those things. But it's just, you really got to find something that aligns with your bigger vision. And that was my problem, was the companies never matched where I wanted to be.
My favorite is a Keller Williams agent who went to Bulb and did all their courses, got to be a badass agent, and then they're like, fuck your splits, I don't want to pay that. Those are the agents. Well, you know what? Come keep 100%. Guess what? They already know how to run the business like a business. They've already been in the production site. They've already done all the things that you need to do to be a top producer, and they come in keeping more of their money. That's just rocket fuel. Then they add more lead systems, more of the other things that, marketing and whatever else. And then they sell in way more houses, keeping way more money. And anything you do for those people, transaction coordination, marketing, technology, they're like so thankful.
Yeah.
And it's like, those are the people that I like.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just interesting. It's all about the model, where you get in where you fit in kind of thing.
Right.
So what are the 2 plans? Like you got your entrepreneur plan, then you've got your like agent plan, I guess, with 50-50 and stuff. So like, how does that, if it was me or like one of my friends who watching this, they want to get into real estate, like, why are they coming to first class, or why is somebody like Austin going to come to first class who's already, producing and stuff like that?
Hypothetically, if Austin were to come to first class. Yeah.
Hypothetically.
So, it's cool. So you got a growth plan. So just think about it. If you want support, mentorship, leads, to be kind of under our wing, that's the partner model. And we run it like a team, but it's the brokerage. So think about it. You have a flat overlay of a 70-30 split. And then you have leads generated by the office as a 50-50. So it's just like a team, but like the team leader is the broker, is us, right? And so there's no additional splits that you would find at a different company if you were to run a team. And so, so once you kind of get your gears going there, then it's like, okay, well, once you're more hands off and you feel like you can generate your own business, or you don't need the support. Like we have some agents that they just love the ability to be able to close deals, hand in contracts, and go do it again. right? Because we create that ability for them because we have in-house transaction coordination.
Right.
We have support staff. We have marketing teams. We have for sale signs. We have lock boxes. Anything you can dream of that a top team would have, we have that. And so you can literally put your business on autopilot in a sense with our system and support. But if you kind of feel like you want to duplicate that for yourself and grow your own empire, your own team, that's where the entrepreneur plan kicks in, and you keep 100% commission and just pay a transaction fee at closing. And then we offer you KV Core, which is given to every agent. So you have your small monthly fee that you pay for that, but you also get to access a big community of agents in Kansas City that are with our office. So you can grow your team, have the technology support and infrastructure, and you can utilize the same systems that we have for our partner model, but for growing your own team.
Oh, and Austin, we give out about 5 to 6 off-market deals to our investors here at the company.
So I'm missing out.
Oh, Austin,
man.
switch.
That's what we need. That's what we need.
What's your
man,
deal?
that's not what we're about. I think, it's, we want to create a cool environment for people to feel like they can truly grow and scale their business. And that's what we have for you.
And when you started 30 years ago, there was only 3 companies. They all ran the same split models. They all ran the same plans. You didn't have options. There wasn't supply and demand. It's like you get what you get, and you're stuck with it. Now you've got EXP, you've got Real. It's like, oh, let's give stocks. Let's give bring on other agents underneath of them, and now they can have a downline. Like I can actually pay a cap and make more money than what my cap is. Well, our model is something like that, but not enough people know about us in the area. But we've got plans where, hey, keep 100%, bring on agents, keep 5% of their production. We've got plans that easily help you grow deals. We can bring on their agent, onboard them for their team, and have everything set up. They don't touch anything. Transaction coordination, everything's already handled for them.
Yeah. We like
So
to
it's
think
just
about
another
it.
model.
It's like a brokerage in a box, team in a box, top producer agent in a box. Like all those resources are there. So you don't have to go reinvent the wheel, essentially.
Yeah. Where can people come and check you guys out? How do they get involved with First Class or find you guys?
Facebook's the best place to reach out. We're on Instagram too, but if you just look us up, David Casey or Ryan Kelly on Facebook, shoot us a direct message. That's usually where we funnel everybody through. And we do monthly masterminds as well at our office. That's open to any agent, no matter what office you're with.
If you don't get something from this mastermind that you can go implement right now and get a piece of business, we're doing it wrong, because it's called the shit that works. So hopefully there's no fluff in there. And but you can tell everybody your tips and tricks, and we only know a small portion of those people are going to implement. But if you're an implementer, come to our masterminds, check it out, and take your business to the next level.
Yep.
I love it. Free value.
Awesome. Do you guys have any questions for us or anything that you guys are wanting to know?
Yeah. I think I heard your goal. You're going to do another 2 homes this year. You're going to flip.
Probably 2 or 3, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll go for 3 this week. Like you guys could lock 3 this week. 3 over the next 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do some damage.
We try to control time.
Yeah.
Like how can I control and condense it so that it works? It's, almost like how Grant Cardone talks about the 10X rule.
Sure.
10 times the effort to hit the goal. So I think your target should really be 30 homes to cap out the year.
How do we get 30 homes?
Just reverse engineer.
I mean, that's 15 a piece. That's light work.
At least towards the end of the year, we want to cap out with, at least finishing out 12 for the year. And then next year we want to rehab 40 houses or more.
There you go. So that seems like a worthy target, because we talk to some people, broker owners, they're like, well, last year I did 112 deals and this year I'm on track to do 127. Like, I don't want those.
Yeah, no. I mean, a big thing for us is we really want to scale things up. I think what you guys are doing is similar to what we're trying to model, just with a slightly different, business structure. In that we want to really have like a triple-headed approach of, we want to wholesale, we want to buy and hold, we want to flip, all these different exit strategies, and just acquire as much real estate as we can in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Yep.
Man, you guys gotta write out your lanes and make
Yeah.
sure you're not overlapping. Because I know in our partnership that was huge up front.
Uh-huh.
It's like we'd be doing the same shit. We're like, why
Yeah.
are we doing the same thing?
It's
as
like
the
we have
other
two
person?
we have two bicycles. We have to get to a different part of town, and we both ride the same one. You know, It's like,
Yeah,
Like,
no,
why am I on your
we definitely have some ironing out to do, but we have a general idea of what our roles are and what each of us is going to accomplish.
How do you get good enough at those roles to move on and hire someone that you can teach them exactly what you're doing and fire yourself from that role?
Right.
Got to make really good
People that-
processes and hire really well and train that person until you know that they're doing a really good job, and then let them take it over.
Gitmo, get enough to move on. Make a T chart. So what do you like
Okay.
to do? What do you not like to do? List it
Mhm.
out, and then you allocate resources into figuring out who can take on the stuff I don't like doing.
Right.
And then that's how you
Get
start to
creative
scale.
with it too. It doesn't always have to be a huge salary or something.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because you guys are you guys are running pretty light, with your salary or your internal teams, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, we have different ways to incentivize our staff. Most of them are licensed agents,
Mhm.
So like, there's multiple streams of income for everybody at our company.
You can't work at a bank and go and show a house or go on a listing appointment or do your marketing activities.
But you can work the front desk at a real estate office and go close a deal,
Right.
So things like that, you just look for different ways to establish win-wins for everybody, And here's like a business principle too. Like one thing we like to implement, it's kind of twofold. There's never go one place for one thing ever. And then you want to create win-win deals. And it's not where I win, Austin wins. It's where I win twice. So in your business ventures, when you're out there, how can you structure multiple wins? So for instance, like if I get a listing, I throw a for sale sign in the front yard. I could win twice there by getting sign calls. I got the listing, I get a sign call. So you look for more opportunities to multiply your efforts. And so just through those little bitty multipliers, day in and day out, will compound into like ridiculous amounts of business. But you just got to stay consistent, because the moment you breach the consistency of it, just like compounding interest whenever you're on an investment,
Yep.
take the money out,
you pull the money out or you stop doing it, you miss out on that future money. And so the same applies for momentum in your business. So a good book for any of the listeners here is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It talks about having a big mo on your side, momentum.
Momentum, yeah.
Little things. But dude, you guys are going to do awesome. I know you guys got the right mindset. You guys are doing the right things. I mean, shoot, capping out the year with at least a flip a month, and then selling some houses on the side too. There's no reason why you guys couldn't reinvest those monies earned and just freaking 4x, 5x next year. Appreciate you guys having us on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on and joining us and talking.